Their intended destination, Benghazi, has been a source of controversy between Nigeria and Libya. While the Nigerian Football Federation (NFF) alleged that the move was intentional, the Libyan Football Federation (LFF) denied maltreating the Super Eagles. The LFF attributed the crisis to a hitch in logistics. However, in a video interview, the pilot emphasized that the decision was not made at his discretion but came from Libyan authorities. The pilot described the diversion as potentially risky, citing the fuel calculations made for the initial destination. The pilot noted, however, that all relevant communications and authorizations are documented and could be provided as evidence if needed.
150 miles, that means 300 kilometers around, more far, but it's at the east. It wasn't our alternate, something which is not good, because in aviation we have our flight plan, we calculate the fuel to our destination, so we have to avoid this kind of thing, because it may make a breach to
impeachment of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Judge Enoch Nwita of the High Court will rule on the case today. Recall that the lower house of Parliament, National Assembly, voted overwhelmingly to impeach Gachagua on 11 charges including corruption. Gachagua filed a court challenge to stop the upper house's proceedings set for the Senate decides whether to approve his removal. Meanwhile, Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni has demanded security guarantees for all her country's troops deployed in Lebanon. In an address to Italy's Senate, Meloni said Israel's actions were not acceptable, noting that she had expressed this position to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. This comes after UN peacekeepers came under fire during the conflict between Israel and Hezbollah. Recall that the UN Security Council had expressed concern after several UN peacekeeping positions came under fire in southern Lebanon and urged all parties, without naming them, to respect the safety and security of UNITIL personnel and premises. Global Box is reaching you live from Adamimogo 107.7 FM. We're going on a short break. When we come back, we'll give you more of these stories.
ọ̀kan pàtàkì lára àwọn ọjọ́ tó yẹ kéèyàn máa yọ̀ ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ lé lórí lọ́jọ́ bí ẹni kẹ̀kẹ́kẹ́ bọ́jọ́ bọ́sẹ̀ bóṣù àtọdún ṣe ń gorí ara wọn lọ́jọ́ bí ẹ̀dá kọ̀ọ̀kan kò lórí kéèpẹ́ ẹ̀yin ọmọ lọ́jọ́ bí tóṣù yìí o ẹ̀yin dà ẹ̀wọ̀n kájọ dáwọ́ ọ̀dùnnú káyọ̀ ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ fojú wa tó rọ́dún tuntun happy birthday.
lọ́jọ́ ìbí ṣe pàtàkì ó ṣe kókó ẹni ọdún babaláyé ó yẹ kó ṣọpẹ́.
ọjọ́jọ́ sátidé tó bá ti kẹ́yìn lóṣù la máa ń dá a kalẹ̀ fáwọn lọ́jọ́ bí gbogbo ìyẹn nílé iṣẹ́ lẹ́rọ àmì òjijì Adamimogo 107 láti fi káwọn ọmọ lọ́jọ́ bí lẹ́nu jọ tóṣù yìí yóò tún yàtọ̀ adùn aláàdù gan ni ó ti yá o káwá jẹ kámú kágbádùn yàtà yòtò nílé iṣẹ́ wa níbí ẹlẹ́rọ àmì òjijì Adamimogo 107.7 FM ẹ̀yin ọmọ lọ́jọ́ bíi tóṣù yìí o ẹ̀yin lọ́nà kan lóṣù yìí o ẹ tètè wá forúkọ sílẹ̀ owó péréte lẹ́ ò fi wọlé ìgbádùn àpọ̀ rẹ́kẹrẹ́kẹ́ ìgbádùn wọn pọ̀ jọ̀wọ́ tẹ́ ẹ san o ẹ fẹ́ wá gbádùn lóṣù yìí àbí fàdà yé díẹ̀ sí ẹ pè sórí aago yìí 08102845728 tàbí 08063808891 last Saturday lóṣù yìí ni o láago 12 ọ̀sán gan Adamimogo 107.7 FM conference hall ibẹ̀ láti ṣe nílùú Ìdó Èkìtì ẹ̀yin ọmọ lọ́jọ́ òbí tóṣù yìí dà long life and prosperity ẹ kú oríire o ìgbìmọ̀ aláṣẹ iléeṣẹ́ Adamimogo 107.7 FM.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. Good to know you're still there. For inquiries, breaking news, and more, please call or text our newsroom on this number 0811-801-8242. You can also follow us on all social media platforms at Adamimogo 107.7 FM. Now to the rest of the news. Former Foreign Secretary David Cameron says he was working up on a planned sanction to Israeli ministers until the UK election this summer intervened. Cameron, who served in the last Conservative government, believes that Labour should pursue action against Israel's finance minister Bezalel Smotrich and Itamar Ben-Gvir, the Minister for National Security. He added that if given consideration negligible in a move to reinforce security measures around poultry farms. This was contained in a decree published in the official journal today. According to the ministry, the change in status was linked to a rise in the number of cases of highly pathogenic avian influenza in several neighboring countries, raising the possibility of migratory birds passing on the virus while passing through France. France has reported 4 bird flu outbreaks on farms since the summer and launched a second vaccination campaign among farm ducks and more than 250 birds at the start of the month after a successful inaugural program last year. Also, a growing number of European countries have reported cases of the virus that has killed millions of poultry in previous outbreaks, including crowds today gathered in Tehran, Iran's capital, for the final funeral ceremony of the Abbas Nilfroushan, the operations commander of Israeli strikes in Lebanon on 27 September. Yesterday, 2 separate funeral ceremonies took place in Iraq before the body was returned to his home country. The IRGC's commander, Esmail Kani, intended his service putting an end to speculation about his whereabouts. On business, Google has signed a deal to use small nuclear reactors to generate the vast amounts of energy needed to power its artificial intelligence AI data centers. The company in a statement said the agreement with Kairos Power will see it start using the first reactor this decade and bring more online by 2035. The companies did not give any details about how much the deal is worth or where the plants will be built. The plans still have to be approved by the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission as well as local agencies before they are allowed to proceed. Technology firms are increasingly turning to nuclear sources of energy to supply the electricity used by the huge data centers that drive AI. Talking sports this afternoon, Sudan's prosecution authority today confirmed a rape investigation without naming a suspect, following media reports that French footballer Kylian Mbappe was being investigated after a visit to Stockholm. In a statement, the prosecutor, who confirmed that a rape complaint had been filed with police, added that the alleged incident occurred at a hotel in the Swedish capital on October 10. Still talking sport, the Libyan Football Federation has condemned the withdrawal of Nigeria from the second leg match against Libya in Benghazi, saying it will take all legal actions needed to protect the interests of the Libyan football squad. In a statement, the LFF said despite the human treatment they had received in Nigeria, they decided to play the first leg match, confirming that the Nigerian side was uncooperative with the Libyan delegation. The LFF clarified that the treatment they received in Nigeria was much worse than Nigeria had in Libya. Finally, on entertainment, Nollywood actor Al Pacino has opened up on his terrifying experience of almost dying from COVID-19 in a new interview. In the interview, the Godfather actor admitted his health scare majorly impacted how he viewed death, as he said he didn't see any light when he thought he would succumb to the illness.
There were 2 doctors who looked like spacemen, and there was an ambulance in front of my house. There was something, then there was nothing. No fall, no anything. There was just nothing, which was, in retrospect, was sort of frightening. No white tunnels, no, nothing. It's like Shakespeare says, in To Be or Not to Be, no more. No sequel, no.
The 85-year-old star of films including Dog Day Afternoon, Heat, and The Irishman has spent a lot of time recently looking back over his life. And that's Global Box on Adamimogo 107.7 FM, Ido Ekiti. Before we go, here again are the highlights. We brought to you that less than 24 hours after President Bola Tinubu called on the disciplinary board of the Confederation of African Football (CAF) to conduct a thorough investigation and recommend appropriate action against Libya, the pilot who flew the Nigerian team has shed more light on the controversy in the wake of the crisis between the Nigerian authorities and Libya over the ill treatment meted out to the Super Eagles. We told you that Kenya court is set to rule on a case seeking to stop a Senate debate and vote on the impeachment of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Lastly, it was in the news that the United Nations says its peacekeepers will maintain their positions in southern Lebanon despite demands by Israel that they should move out of the way of its forces there. Global Box was edited by Michael Jason Ijasan, and that's it this afternoon. Thanks for listening. Good afternoon and bye for now.